Welcome to Beyond Investments with your host, Seth Leishman of Ostro Financial Consultants. Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Ostro Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Today's guest, Rick Fisher, is a financial advisor with Ostro Financial Consultants, National Planning member SIPC. And now, Beyond Investments, here's your host, Seth Leishman.
Good morning and welcome to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO AM 830, Nevada County. I used to refer to it as KNCO, but it is also called Nevada County Broadcasters.
Well, I think that's the name of the company that owns the radio station. Right. The station is still KNCO.
That's correct.
830. It's just the business is not called KNCO 830.
Right. Yes. Nevada County. I want to welcome everybody to the show today. Rick Fisher and Seth Leishman from Ostro Financial.
Hey, everyone.
Boy, oh boy. Big week. Federal Reserve did not raise interest rates.
No, but they hinted that there'll probably be another one, and the market didn't like it.
No, that did not go over so well. We'll see how it finishes off. But, it's been an interesting one, though, that's for sure. Anyways, so.
But we're going to talk about something that's been in the news quite a bit.
Yes.
Have you filled up your car recently?
Filled up yesterday. And it wasn't even that low. I still had more than half a tank. And I know it's a pickup, but it's still only a 25-gallon tank. I had more than half. It still cost me $75. It was brutal.
Yep.
We're going to talk about oil.
We're going to talk about oil.
Yes, it is.
There seems to be, by some people, there's a war on oil.
Right.
And there's been a war on oil for quite a long time. I remember we had some clients early on, 15, 20 years ago, that were really into the peak oil movement.
Right.
And it's obviously morphed into something else, and now we're trying to get off of it for climate change purposes and switching over to electricity. We'll talk a little bit about that. And oil's been around for a long time.
It has been.
And we'll do some trivia around it, how much oil was at certain times. So
absolutely.
But before we do that, we should do our normal trivia.
Let's do our normal trivia.
Which I got quite a bit, especially financial trivia. A lot of stuff happened this week, on the 20th.
Yeah.
So starting in the year 2000. It's not what you think.
And it's not going to be tech.
Well, not really, no. Juvenile delinquency spreads to online investing.
Oh, interesting.
As the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission brings a case of securities fraud against a minor for the first time in its 66-year history. The SEC alleges that on at least 11 occasions, Jonathan Ledbed manipulated microcap stocks by posting hundreds of false and misleading statements at online message boards. Lebed, who racked up nearly $800,000 in illegal gains, was 14 years old at the time.
Wow.
And that's from the Wall Street Journal and Jason's Wig.
Yeah.
Moving on to 1980. This one you'll be interested in. On a quiet Saturday afternoon in his office at the Johnson Company in Newtown, Pennsylvania, benefits consultant Ted Baina realizes that a new provision of the IRS code, section 401k, will permit retirement plans to use pre-tax payroll deductions and company matching contributions. Quote, "It was very simple, but no one had yet put the pieces together," he later recalls. "I attribute my discovery to prayer. The Johnson Company offers to sell the commercial rights to Baina's idea for $1 million, but two large insurance companies turned down the offer, failing to see any potential in it." Moving on to 1979. Lee Iacocca, who had been hired away from Ford the previous November, becomes the chairman of Chrysler Corp., which is on the verge of bankruptcy. By 1982, Chrysler is back in the black, thanks largely to a $1.5 billion emergency loan from Uncle Sam.
Of course.
And Iacocca has become one of the best-known people on earth. And if you've seen Ford versus Ferrari, he's prominent in that movie.
That's right. Yes,
because he was the father of the Mustang, so to speak.
Yeah. It's interesting to go from the father of the Mustang, to the father of the minivan.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Two opposite ends
Two
of the
opposite
spectrums.
ends of this cool car spectrum.
Well, it's funny because when the Mustang first came out, it was really called the Secretary's car because they had the coupe, they didn't have the fastback, and they had a 6-cylinder.
Yeah,
Anyways.
that's right.
That was probably a very sexist thing to say, but
Very much so back then.
But that's how the 60s were.
That's how. Yes.
1929. Again, you kind of know where this is going.
Yep.
The most powerful and famous banker in the United States, Charles E. Mitchell of the National City Bank, states flatly as he boards a transatlantic cruise liner, quote, "There is nothing to worry about in the financial situation in the United States. There will be less than 5 weeks later when the crash of 1929 ushers in the Great Depression."
Wow.
So be careful when Jamie Dimon says everything is perfect.
Yeah,
that's when we should be worried.
Maybe we should be worried about that point. At that point,
hopefully Jamie Dimon's learned from that. Most bankers have that too.
Yeah,
just like
so.
Was it late 1800s? The head of the patent office said everything that could be invented had been invented, or something. Sometimes it's best not to say anything.
Yeah, sometimes you just shouldn't be talking.
1873, the stock market crashes. Western Union falls from $75 to $54 a share.
Oh.
And the New York Stock Exchange Board of Governors closes the exchange for the first time on record. The cause of the plunge, a third of all money on loan from New York banks has gone into buying stocks on margin.
Ooh.
Oops.
Not good.
Not good at all. 1851, President Millard Fillmore does the only memorable thing, signing into law the first Federal Land Grant Act, which gives huge tracts of federally owned land to railroads.
Wow.
In turn, the railroads build trackways across the land, then sell the adjacent lots at low prices to settlers from the east. This, more than anything else, explains how the West was won.
Interesting.
Moving on to sports. 1919, legendary baseball slugger Babe Ruth, who was a pitcher at the time most of the time, ties Ned Williamson's major league mark of 27 home runs in the season with a ninth-inning blast against the Boston Red Sox. In Boston Red Sox against the White Sox. So he was still he was doing the Ohtani thing, or Ohtani's doing the Ruth thing. So he was pitcher and hitter, and he broke the single season record. So if Ohtani can hit, what's the record now? 73?
73. Yeah.
Anyways. 1931, Lou Gehrig, 4 RBIs, increases his record total of 175. He hit the previous year to 184 RBI.
Oh.
Not the all-time record. The all-time record is 190 by Hack Wilson in 1930. Anyways, that's American League versus National League.
Yes.
Since we're in football season now.
Yes, we are.
1933, the Pittsburgh Steelers, known at the time as the Pittsburgh Pirates, played their first NFL game. How do you think they did?
Probably lost abysmally.
23-2.
Okay.
But obviously, many Super Bowls later.
Super Bowls later, yes.
1939, Joe Louis puts Bob Pastor down 5 times in an 11-round KO at Briggs Stadium, Detroit, in his 8th heavyweight boxing title defense.
Wow.
Dang. Took 5 times. I don't think refs would let you go down 5 times.
No, I don't think so. Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. 1973, on this day, Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in the Battle of Sexes tennis match.
Yes.
I remember my parents watching that.
Yeah.
It was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
1988, Boston Red Sox Wade Boggs is the first player, to get 200 hits for 6 consecutive seasons.
Wow.
And moving on to music.
Yes.
Fame, the song Fame.
Okay.
Gave David Bowie his first #1 U.S. hit. The song was co-written with John Lennon. Lennon's voice can be heard at the end of the song repeating the words Fame. On his way to, unfortunately, on his way to perform his second concert of the day, U.S. singer Jim Croce was killed with 5 others as his chartered aircraft hit a tree on takeoff in Louisiana. I believe that was 1973.
Yeah. Yeah, wild.
And last but not least, 1964, at the end of the North American tour, the Beatles play a charity concert at the Paramount Theater in New York City. But 3,682 people in attendance paid $100 a ticket.
Wow.
That's like $1,000.
That's a lot of money. Wow.
And that is it for trivia.
All right.
It's for the old style trivia.
We are going to we're going to talk about oil today.
Yes.
As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, but for those listeners out there joining us a little bit late here, we're going to talk about energy, oil, and a lot of detail around that, and some of the, and not necessarily investing, but like also the economic impacts of energy and oil and whatnot. So we're going to take a quick break though. You're listening to Beyond Investments here on News Talk AM 830. Welcome back to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO AM 830. Oil, gas prices. I mean, we think about oil, usually we jump right to gas prices. Of course, we know oil is in everything.
And it's been around for a very long time. Actually, it's a natural occurring substance.
Yes.
And back in ancient times, we're talking about ancient times, the ancients just discovered it seeping from the ground.
Right. Yes. It just came up. A long time ago, it came up naturally all by itself.
Right.
I mean, you didn't need to drill for it.
No, you didn't. And petroleum has been used for waterproofing, construction, lighting purposes, because obviously
definitely, because it's
ancient
quite flammable.
And its semi-solid cousin is asphalt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you look at our roads, all our roads are made from an oil-based product.
It's all exactly. It's all made from petroleum. Interesting.
And again, they said they first found it could be found in the seepages in Italy, China, Egypt, Cuba, and the Dead Sea.
Interesting.
So, I mean, ancient man sees it, finds these purposes. So we've been using oil since then.
Yeah.
And obviously in the 19th century, when we started lighting things.
Yes. Really started using it for, whether it be heating oil. Then we started, obviously converted it to cars and whatnot. But
right.
You've got some more info on that.
Yes. So exactly. As techniques for extracting and refining fossil fuels improved, and as technology-driven demands increased, petroleum and natural gas has become a sought-after resource. In 1855, looking for a more efficient replacement for the asphalt-based kerosene, which is it wasn't as easy. It was more volatile.
Quite a bit more volatile, yeah.
George Henry Bissell and a group of investors formed the Pennsylvania Rock Oil Company. They hired Edwin Drake, who completed the first oil well in the United States.
In the United States.
Actually, guess where the first oil well was?
I don't know.
In Trinidad.
Oh, interesting.
That was a little bit of trivia of all places. But the first one in the United States was here. Modern oil era. So at Oil Creek near Titusville, Pennsylvania, August 27th, 1859. So before the Civil War.
Before even the Civil War. Wow.
The renamed Seneca Oil Company was soon overshadowed by the Standard Oil Company, which was founded by John D. Rockefeller in 1865 and went on to control 80% of the oil market.
80% of the oil market.
Yeah, and I probably told the story before, but my great-grandfather, he and his brother started Fisher Oil Company. They were from Pennsylvania in the 1870s, and they were one of the pioneers because with the transportation of oil, they used to put it on barges,
right?
Barrels and barges. Well, sometimes they catch on fire. They're just big eco mess.
Yes.
And so my great-grandfather and his brothers were one of the ones who pioneered the oil pipeline.
Oh, okay.
But they were swallowed up by Rockefeller and Standard Oil.
Yes.
But they did okay.
They did fine with that.
They did okay. Anyway, so with the introduction of electricity in 1882, so it was used for heating, for lighting, but now they have electricity, which this is the debate now.
That's right.
Oil or electricity. Natural gas and oil were no longer needed as fuel light. The natural gas industry shifted to heating and cooling applications.
Right. Yeah.
And the oil industry found the new demand in the newly automobile industry.
Yeah, of course.
So there's, you have a substance at work. It's very versatile.
Yeah, very versatile.
And that could have been, just think if the car wasn't invented yet, the oil business would have.
Oh, it could have gone under basically or close to it.
Because you got Okay, and then 1909, antitrust laws forced Standard Oil into 34 different companies.
Of course, yes.
I mean, AT&T was only broken up to what, a half a dozen?
Oh, half a dozen, yeah.
Let's see.
Standard
But in the
Oil.
1940s, 3 of them, along with 4 other international companies, grew to dominate the market, were nicknamed the Seven Sisters. Have you ever heard that terminology
I've not
before?
heard that one before,
So
no.
the Seven Sisters were Standard Oil, Gulf Oil,
Oh,
which
yeah.
used to be the Standard Oil of New York,
Okay.
Texaco, which used to be the Standard Oil of California, Royal Dutch, which is in 1907, Royal Dutch Shell,
Yes.
and then Anglo-Persian Oil Company, which is now Texaco, Turkish Petroleum Company is now called Gulf, and Seneca Oil Company, which is BP.
Okay.
So as I was saying, the first modern wells were done in the 1850s. The first, and then big oil came about in the late 19th century. Obviously, Rockefeller was part of that, but they broke up his company. But when you think about oil, so you've got gasoline, you've got asphalt.
Right.
The plastics industry is mostly all
That's a huge part of it.
petroleum based.
Yeah, most of that's petroleum based.
So
It goes into everyday modern life. Oil goes into everyday modern life. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And talking about oil, used as an energy source, for example, let's just kind of maybe we'll focus on that for a few minutes. Refined into gasoline and diesel fuels,
right.
for automobiles. Even if we were to be 100% electric today, we would still use a significant amount of oil on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Tesla that you drive, no, not you, I don't mean you personally.
No.
That the Tesla, any modern vehicle is a huge percentage made out of oil, actually. The building of the vehicle.
The tires, the
the
hoses,
plastic
the belts,
bumpers.
the bumpers.
The plastic, all the synthetic fake leather seats that you sit on. A lot of that is not made from plants, that's for sure.
Right. Some is though.
Some is though, but not all of it. Your dash, that plastic dash, so much of it, the wiring looms are all wrapped in plastic, which is made from oil. So this idea that, we're going to be electric cars, or we're going to save the environment entirely.
Well, at the end of the day, I think my biggest gripe is that it's the mandate.
Yes.
It's for a political ideology. It's not really based in sciences. I don't have a
Correct.
problem. This is not the electric car's first go around. I have a picture of my great aunt in a electric car from 1915.
Right. Yes.
Now, obviously, it didn't take off then because battery technology just wasn't efficient. So the oil, the gas burning cars beat it out.
That's right.
Now, at some point, that may flip flop.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be mandated. I would think that there is a market for it.
Yeah.
And for those who want to
course.
do it, that's fine. There are definitely some benefits.
Yeah.
But what bothers me is that they hide up, they only paint the good picture and they don't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Because if you tell the whole story, you should let the market determine.
That's right.
If Tesla is going to make it, if they're the only electric car company because everyone else is making and everyone makes money, what
That's
difference
right.
does it make?
What difference does it make? Absolutely.
And cars are cleaner than they've ever been.
Absolutely cleaner than they've ever been.
And they will continue to get cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's amazing. I remember growing up as a kid. Just you and I are big car nuts since we were kids, okay? And usually when you're a kid, you want fast cars.
That's right.
Okay, but you knew that fast cars weren't very safe.
Yes.
They were and they were expensive, and they're all
Not
this
efficient.
stuff. And now, if you look at some of the first cars I fell in love with were late '60s Mustangs, bigger V8 than the 400 cubic inch, the Corvette. Every one of those are a classic.
Yes.
But they can't hold a candle to modern day cars.
No, not even a little bit.
I mean, the horsepower's gone up, the gas mileage's gone up, the safety's gone up,
Yes.
the entertainment's gone up.
Yes.
Just everything is better about the cars today than were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they will be better regardless if they're electric or gas burning 20, 30, 40 years from now. And then there may be another technology. I think that probably at the end of the day, if you look at it, either nuclear power, which probably is to shrink it's going to be really hard, or hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
And to tell you the truth, if I was going to get another car, I would look at a plug-in hybrid because it's got what I think kind of the best of both worlds. You got your gas, and again, to save, if I'm just driving around town, just have an electric motor. If I'm on a long trip, and make sure
I don't want to have to stop and charge up every 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an issue. I really focus on the plug-in hybrid because I think I've heard that some of them get up to 500 miles.
Yeah,
because you do have the gas.
Yep, that's right.
And if you're looking for performance, I mean, all the top exotic car manufacturers make plug-in hybrids.
That's right.
And they're faster than anything's ever come.
Oh, they're amazing.
So there is a market. Let's just not
force things.
Exactly. So not force things. But now let's have a little fun since we all have gasoline. I mean, when we think about oil, most of us every day we deal with gas.
We deal with gas.
Okay.
Yes.
As a kid, did you like the smell of gas?
I mean, it wasn't bad.
I did as a kid. I don't now. But it doesn't smell nearly as bad as it used to.
No, I don't think it does.
When they took the lead out.
Yeah, lead made a big difference.
Okay, the Great Depression. How much do you think gas was a gallon?
10 cents.
Well, you double that.
21 cents. 21 cents. Okay, 21 cents a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and then by 1937, when the depths of the Depression, what do you think it was?
12.
20 cents.
20 cents.
It didn't move.
It didn't even really move. Wow.
The beginning of World War II, 19 cents.
Okay.
The end of World War II, 21 cents.
Wow.
The year I was born, 1962, 31 cents.
Okay, so it's gone up. Wow.
The year you were born,
1982.
$1.22.
Oh.
Over $1, yeah.
Over $1?
It was over $1.
Wow, that's interesting because 16 years later when I got my driver's license, it was 99 cents.
Well, here, we're 1998. That would have been yours.
Yeah, 98-ish.
It says 106.
106, so close enough.
Yeah, 106. So, and I remember when I first got a 1978. I didn't look at 78. 70. When I first started driving, it was 63 cents.
Wow, okay. There you go.
But that was double what it had been just a few years earlier.
That's right.
So it had double because I went through the oil. I learned how to drive after the first oil crisis.
Look at that. I mean, so here's a little perspective for fun here. I hate to interrupt you, but 1998, you said it was $1.06?
Yes.
We pay more than that per gallon in tax today.
I have some information on the taxes because I know that's your soft spot right there.
Oh, that is.
But here, the oil embargo was $73.74. So in 1973, gas was 39 cents a gallon.
Okay.
The next year, 53 cents a gallon.
Ooh, big jump. Yeah.
Big jump. I don't have my calculator, but it's almost a double.
Yeah, it is.
So it was a huge shock.
Yeah.
Going to when I first started here at Ostroff.
Yep.
Well, it was 1998 when you started driving.
Okay.
So when I started here, you were just driving.
I was just driving.
Making me feel old. But again, $1.06. In the year 2000.
Yes.
$1.17.
Yep.
08-09 crisis. $3.27 in 1908 and 2008.
2008, yeah, I remember that.
So the first time it went over $2 was looks like 2005.
Okay.
And then 2020 was $2. Oh, that's only 3 years ago. $2.17.
Yes. Yes.
The highest average price here, they were saying in 2012 was $3.64 a gallon, which is 167% more expensive than a decade earlier.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, so they say the highest. Well,
look at it today.
Adjusted for inflation, the average price of gas in 1981 would have equaled $2.42 a gallon in 2020.
Wow. Okay.
But now I just would here in California, we'll talk about some of the states.
Yes.
Oh, so here's another question: How many states in the United States produce oil?
Most. More than 50%.
More than 50%. Yeah, 32 out of 50.
Okay, nice.
And who do you think number one is? He asked knowingly.
It's Texas.
Yes,
for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We've got Texas. It's 42%. It's almost half.
Almost half in just the one state.
And then we've got California, New Mexico, North Dakota, Alaska. Only 3% though.
Okay. Wow.
And as far as countries,
yes.
Okay, can you name all the OPEC members?
No, I cannot. Not even close.
Okay, so when you hear the Persian Gulf, so the Persian Gulf countries and the OPEC members, people kind of use those.
Yes.
They switch them back and forth.
Of course.
but they shouldn't. The Persian Gulf countries are Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
OPEC members are Algeria, Angola, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, and Venezuela. So it's much, much bigger.
Yes, much bigger. With the last couple of minutes here, as we got a couple minutes left, what other tidbits do you have for us today? What should we focus on, I should say?
Well, when you think about who do you think the top 3 oil producing countries are?
Well, we used to be.
Well, technically in 2019, we still are. Ours is more expensive. It's not the cheapest, but
yes. And you know, just a few years ago, we were top.
Right.
And of course, we faltered. We've backtracked on that regard. But I mean, it's got to be Russia, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, of course. Of
course.
I would imagine they've got to be at the those are the countries that probably have the highest production, right? United States, Russia, Saudi Arabia,
Canada,
Venezuela, Canada. I didn't even think, of course, Canada. Yeah. Wow.
Mexico.
Very interesting. Oil's everywhere.
It is.
And it's in everything. And we think about gas as the only thing, but it is a lot more than just that. It's a lot more than just gasoline. A lot more of our day-to-day niceties come from oil, right? I mean, just think about walk through the grocery store. How much inside the grocery store? We think about food. We would never eat oil. But how much we walk through the grocery store and oil impacts every item in that store. Almost everything.
Yeah.
It's either wrapped in plastic, packaged in plastic, has been cut up with plastic gloves on. It's amazing. It is everywhere.
It's extremely versatile. We've been using it for decades.
Centuries.
Yes.
More than one century.
In its raw form, absolutely.
In its raw form, yeah. Wow. Well, Rick, appreciate your time today. It's a fun topic. Very interesting. And it's going to come up more.
This debate is not going away.
This is not going away. Yeah. This is going to be something that's going to come up later on in the future. Especially if they really do get to, California pushing all electric by 2035. We'll see how this goes, but
that's only 12 years from now. That's
only
not,
12 years from now.
Not very long.
No.
Unless you're 12 years old, then it's double your life, but it's half your life.
Then nobody,
but we're not 12 anymore.
Not so much. As always, we will encourage any listener out there. You can go to our website at austrofinancial.com, click on the news link, and download or stream any previous shows. And as always, if you'd like to learn more, give us a call at 273-4425. Come experience the difference when you think beyond investments.
Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Austro Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.